Welcome, writers, readers, and friends to the Authors Talking Bookish podcast. I'm Donna Norman Carbone, author of All That Is Sacred.
And I'm Hope Gibbs, author of Where the Grass Grows Blue.
We're two debut writers traditionally published by a small publishing house, bringing to you all the experiences that we as authors learn the hard way, so you don't have to.
We'll give you insights from the inception of a book idea to publication and beyond. And along the way, we'll share our love of books from the writer's perspective.
Hi, friends. Welcome to episode 12. This means it's our 6-month anniversary. How cool is that?
Happy anniversary, Donna.
Thank you. Happy anniversary, Hope. We are here to talk about a realistic timeline for your book launch and to give you a to-do list to get you there. I am Donna Norman Carbone, and I am joined by Hope Gibbs. How are you doing, Hope?
I am doing great. You know, the holidays are right on us, and I'm starting to prepare for everyone coming home, and we're having some in-laws coming in. So I'm going to have a house full on Thanksgiving, but I'm really excited about it. What about you?
Yeah, I'm doing the same. I am winding down with my book tour, which is awesome. I need some time to recoup, and I'm looking forward to some family time. I love Thanksgiving.
I agree. And you and I've talked on the phone about this. I feel like the end of September, October, November were the craziest months I've had since my book launched back in mid to late May. And I just got back from a book festival in Kentucky, and I was up there for 4 days. And so it's been a lot of promoting lately.
Yeah. You have had a banner week. Why don't you tell everybody about your week? You won 2 awards. You were at a festival.
Yes, I won some awards. I also got shortlisted for another award. It's been a little crazy. So, and of course you're winning awards left and right. So you're having a banner week, and you went to a festival over the weekend, didn't you?
I did. Actually, it was a craft fair, and I learned a little something, Hope, that I want to share. I sold so many books at this craft fair. I can't even believe it. And I have really pretty much done author book events. And I think it's a matter of the competition. I think it's, women are crafters and they're out there and, they like women's fiction. We're not competing with other genres. So I had a great weekend. It was so much fun talking to everybody about my book too.
Congratulations. I was at a big book festival. I mean, there was 140 authors in a convention center in Louisville, and you had all kinds of genres, and they didn't group us together. My person I shared a table with, he was from Kentucky, but he wrote Civil War nonfiction. So sometimes when he would step away from the table, and if someone came up, I would sell his book and vice versa. But we ended up, it was fun because we would get couples come to our table and we would try to sell our books. So it was kind of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome to network and meet other authors too, don't you think?
It's so important. And I'd met some authors that I have been quote unquote friends with, social media wise, but I actually got to meet 3 of them in person, and I made so many more friends. And one of the nicest people there to me was a woman who writes children's books. So I made that connection. So it was incredible. I loved it. And speaking of books, are you even able to read right now? Because I know you're doing NaNoWriMo.
No, I haven't read since I read my friend Bella Elwood Clayton's ARC, Weekend Friends, which released earlier this month. And I have another ARC in front of me. And ironically, these 2 women were my first critique partners that I found 5 years ago. We've never met in person. They're actually both in Australia. And all 3 of us are publishing our first books within a year of each other. Yeah. So I'm super excited to do that. But no, I've been writing a lot this month. I'm trying to revise book 3, and it's going okay. I keep hitting some stumbling blocks, but I'll get there. How about you? Are you reading? Are you writing?
Unfortunately,
I'm not. In between?
I'm not really. I was going to do NaNoWriMo. I had the best of intentions. I just haven't gotten around to it because I also went up early to Louisville because I was on a TV show promoting my book. And then I went to a writers conference, a different writers conference. I went to another writing event. So I feel like I just have lost the ability right now to find that time, but I am going to start writing. Next week is going to slow down, even though I'm going to have a house full of people for Thanksgiving. But yeah, I'm still reading a little bit in between because I like to read when I work out, you know that. So I'm reading my very first Karen Kingsbury book. So I'm very excited about that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of Barbara Kingsbury.
So, well, no, it's Karen. It's Karen Kingsbury.
Karen.
And so it's my first book of hers. So we'll see how that goes. So I've heard great things. So, but I think it's time that we start talking about what we're here for today. Launching your book. There is a timeline, and it is critical, especially for new authors, to understand that these things are going to be coming at you, and you should be prepared for that. I felt like sometimes, Donna, I was, if it wasn't for you, I don't know what I would have done sometimes, because you would always kind of guide me through that this is coming up next. So why don't we just go right into the topic?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it does matter whether you have an agent and you're being published by the Big Five, or you're working without an agent, or maybe you do have an agent and you're being published by a small press, or you're publishing on your own. I think the amount of things that you have to do is much more from somebody who's self-published all the way to, somebody published by the Big Five. But, I kind of think there are three major phases, right? When you get your book deal, or even before you get your book deal, there are some things that you need to know as someone who's interested in becoming an author, or a published author, I should say. And then the second one is during. So you know that you've got the contract, you're starting your edits on your book, and things are rolling. There's a lot of things that you need to do. The tasks seem to pick up speed. And then afterwards, you still need to continue working as, a business person, a marketing person, to get your book out there. And I kind of liken it to a swimming metaphor. I talk about, getting your ducks in a row. And I kind of think the first step is kind of getting your feet wet, just kind of, starting small and doing what you can control, doing what you know, and then really diving in around the book launch time, and then finding your stride afterwards. What do you think about that as a metaphor?
I agree. And I feel like that when people think of launching a book, they think, oh, after launch day, it's launched. No, it does not stop. And you have to continue, as we're going to go through the timeline with you. But no, I think that is a perfect metaphor. I really like that, Donna. I might have to take that sometime. So let's talk about the first part. Okay. We're looking at 18 months out. So what do you think are some of the key things if you are, thinking about becoming a writer, or you've signed a deal, or you're going to self-publish, or whatnot? What do you think is important at the 1.5 year mark before your book comes out?
Yeah, I think that's the time that you really want to start thinking about networking. And how do you network on social media? That is a major way that we network with our readers and other authors to kind of find our way through this process. But definitely think about opening accounts on the major social media platforms. And you can check a previous podcast where we talked about all the social media platforms. You definitely want a website. You want a landing page. In fact, a lot of agents want you to have those things before you even start to query. So that's something, if you think you're going to query, I would start getting involved with that now. Doesn't have to be anything special. They need to know that you have the ability and you are willing to put yourself out there, because they want to know that you're going to do your part in advertising your book, no matter how it's published. And then the last thing is really kind of networking with a book community. Join a book club. Go on Instagram and find bookstagrammers. Engage with them, because you are going to need to start building your reader base. And so I think those are two really good places to start.
And I also think it's very important to try to connect with authors if you can, because that's going to come in to play later when you're going to be needing blurbs, because you want blurbs, author blurbs from, published authors for your website, for your marketing, for your Amazon account and whatnot. So I think that also connecting with other authors is very critical in this time period. And you can do it, as we've talked about, writing reviews, starting to review books and tagging the author or giving a hashtag, because a lot of times they'll find you that way. And it's a great experience. Or join something like Bookish Road Trip, or, things like that, or an online book community.
Yeah. Yeah, the WFWA has been wonderful for that. We have sung its praises often, and I know that there are others for different kinds of genres as well. So definitely look into that. About 12 months prior to your launch, you want to start collecting subscribers. So, and you know what? I have done a number of webinars about this. I don't know whether you have or not. I did a great one with the WFWA. And the thing about subscribers is those are people. So basically you're collecting their email addresses. They're saying, we're interested in you as an author, and we would like to receive a blog post or a newsletter monthly. And those are people who are really going to be your tried and true reader base. If social media ended tomorrow, you would still have this list of all these email addresses. And so it's really important to start that. Do you have a newsletter, Hope?
I did not do a newsletter, but I do have a blog. And there for a while, I was doing blogging at least 2 or 3 times a month. I have not gotten to do it in October because I've just been so busy with everything else and promoting, and in November, but I'm going to sit down and write a blog post, kind of a year-end wrap up, happy Thanksgiving kind of thing. So that's how I get subscribers. It's really subscribing to my blog. And you have both. I know that.
Yeah, I do both. I do each of them once a month. So at the very beginning of the month, I'll put out a newsletter. And basically, I actually had a hard time trying to decide what goes in my newsletter, what goes on my blog. And so I think I've kind of nailed it down. My newsletter, that is something that I announce book tour dates, where I'm going to be, when I'm going to be there. I announce awards that my book has received. Every month I do like a top 7 thing, just personal things about myself, so my readers can get to know me. And it's really just to kind of keep them up behind the scenes. I'll also do giveaways there before I'll do them publicly. But my blog post is more, I kind of look at that like I'm writing an article. So I'm picking a topic. I'm writing 1 article a month on different facets of publishing, different facets of myself. And sometimes I write it with, writers as my audience in mind. And sometimes I write it with readers as my audience in mind. So I hope that both of them check them out.
Yeah. With my blog, I usually pick a subject. One time I blogged about my dog, Harley, and our relationship. And I blogged about a trip to Nantucket, the Southern Girls Guide to Nantucket. But a lot of my blogs lately, I always do 3 things I'm obsessed with, which is like you. I kind of give people a little insight into what I'm doing. And then I include a recipe at the end as well that you can find in my book, because there's a lot of Southern cuisine in my book, and I lean into that. So so that's what I do. And so the other thing that you can do 12 months out, and you can even do it a little bit earlier, is getting an author headshot. That is very important, because that is the first image long before your book is going to come out. That is the first image that you are giving to readers. And that's something that, it can be as simple as having a friend who has a good quality camera, to all the way to hiring a professional.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that you're going to want to start to think about too is creating your brand, which we did a whole episode on. So you can check that out as well. And your brand kind of goes hand in hand with your social media and your website. Your brand should be evident on both of those. I will tell you that I struggled with that a little bit, like finding my brand. I didn't know exactly what that was when I first started social media and my website, but now I think I am pretty comfortable in my brand.
Yeah, you absolutely, you've definitely leaned into your colors and who you are as an author. And And I carry all that all the way over to my bookmarks. I gave away bookmarks at that festival, and it's the bookmark matches identically to my book, and it matches my website, because my website also is color coordinated to go along with my book. So
I think you're very strong on brand as well.
Thank you very much. Well, the other thing that you need to think about is an author bio. And I know, as someone who's a writer, you write 90,000 word manuscript, but sometimes just a simple 100 word bio can really trip you up. And that's something that you're going to be copying and pasting so much. You're going to be using that bio all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually would have a folder, in Google Docs or what have you, with all your social media links, with your bio, with your book jacket summary, which is equally as hard to write as a bio. You think you write this 90,000 word book, you can handle the 150 to 250 book summary, but it's tough. It's tough to whittle it down. And also your acknowledgments for your book, you should start thinking about that at this point and maybe writing them out. I know writing my acknowledgments was a prideful moment for me. Like, that was the moment that I was kind of like, oh, wow, like this is happening. Yeah. I'm an author. And it was nice to just thank everybody, because it certainly takes a village. What do you think?
I totally agree with all of that. The acknowledgement, acknowledgments are personal. Sometimes they can be very, very short, and then sometimes they can go on page after page. And you want to. It's also a nice memory just to have. So let's talk about 6 months. What's going on in month 6, going all the way to month 3?
Well, I think you're still working on getting subscribers, so you don't want to stop that. That is a process that is ongoing. At this time too, I think you need to make the list of people you'd like to blurb for your book, and you need to start thinking about how you're going to get reviews for your book, because that is something that you want to plan on in advance. So when you're ready, when ARCs or galleys come out for your book, you're ready to go.
And if you're with one of the bigger publishers, that can come out 6 to 9 months before your book is even published. So if you're with one of the bigger ones, sometimes you will have an advantage of getting those ARCs out to people much earlier than if you're with a small press or a hybrid press or even self-publishing. So, so in that time, you're also probably doing some line edits, and you also maybe want to start thinking about, hey, do I want a launch party? And if I do, what do I want to make it? You can do a launch party any way you want. Some people open it to the public, and then some people just want it to be private with their close friends.
Yeah. I know people who have done it at bookstores. I did mine at a winery. You did yours at your country club, right?
Yeah, no, I did it at Soho House here in Nashville. So so I did it at Soho House, and it was great. And my husband, he planned it, and
That's so awesome.
It was wonderful, and I didn't have the pressure of any of that, so it was nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
So let's talk about month 3, like 3 months before your book is coming out. What did you do at 3 months?
Okay. I started looking for places for a book launch party. I started thinking about a guest list. I started thinking about the kinds of things I wanted to serve, food and drinks. I also started ordering book swag. So people have commented on my paper doll bookmarks. I had an artist who is wonderful. I'm going to give her a plug. Custom by Erica Plum. She created character bookmarks for me. So I have 5 characters. And so I ordered those. I ordered some other book swag. And I got my street team ready. So I put a graphic out looking for a street team, which consists of the people who are going to ARC for your book. And they're also going to help you spread social media, just help you spread the word of your book. And my ARC team has been amazing.
Yes, you had a great team for that. But also that's going to be different if you're with one of the bigger publishers or one of their imprints. They're going to help you do those kind of things, and they have a massive reach. But if you're a small press hybrid, or if you are self-publishing, this is how we went about it. And you and I also did something that you should reach out at least 3 to 6 months before, is Susie Book Tours. You and I both did that, and she has consisted. She's got a group of Instagram bloggers who are influencers, and they will basically review your book, put it on their Instagram page, and it gives you a lot of visibility, especially if you're, a debut novelist, or you don't have the reach that the big 4 or big 5 publishers do.
Right. And in addition to that, you also want to start paying attention to writing podcasts, reading podcasts, people who are book bloggers, and reach out to them. Ask them if they're interested in interviewing you, or doing a book review of your book, or doing a blog post interview of you and your book.
Yeah. And you should start creating a sell sheet. That's something that is very important. You can even do that on Canva. That's what I did, my sell sheet. And that's basically just the facts of your book. If you've gotten great reviews or a blurb or whatnot, the price of your book, where your book can be found. And you want to include your headshot. You want them to see, and you also want to put a cover of your book on that as well. So then let's talk about 1 month. Donna, what did you do 1 month before?
Okay. Well, actually, I want to back up just a little bit to add to the 3 month. One of the biggest things that I did during my 3 months was my cover reveal.
Oh, yes.
At a certain point, your publisher will release the cover to you, and you get to reveal it. And that was so exciting to me. That was one of those benchmarks for me that I thought, okay, this is really happening. So think about how you want to do your cover reveal in advance.
And also make sure you have the links to pre-order, because you don't want to just do a cover reveal. You want to give someone a place to go to find your book.
Yeah. Well, sometimes those happen at the same time, but sometimes they happen differently.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have a pre-order. I had my cover well before I had my pre-order.
Yeah. And mine kind of happened at the same time. So sometimes you never know.
So,
and then there's also something that I think is really important, like when you get your first box of books. Also, make sure you have someone recording the first time you touch your book, because it really is special, and you don't want to just. I know that urge of opening the book, but have someone record it or take a picture.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's talk about launch day.
Okay. So launch day, I actually got advice from you on launch day, which was that it was going to be a day of madness, but just try to breathe and take it all in, which is what I did. So I actually took the day off from work, which was perfect. I woke up, I checked my book on Amazon. I know you checked yours at midnight the night before. You stayed up the night before just to make sure that it went live. But yeah, you're going to get a lot of texts from people. You're going to get a lot of posts on social media. You want to make sure that you respond to all of them. I had a little book event at my school. They, in the library, the faculty and staff got together and just gave me a little celebration, which was awesome. So I did go into work for that. And then I just came home and I had a nice dinner with my family.
Yeah.
How about you?
So I stayed at home that day. I was constantly, if someone was nice enough to congratulate me on social media or send me a text, I was doing my best to respond. I had a few Instagram live things, and I was just doing a lot of, little promoting. And then that night, 2 couples that are dear friends of ours, they came over, we popped a bottle of champagne, and my husband gave me the most beautiful, he had a customized made painting of my book cover. It was hydrangeas, and it was just beautiful. And it was a wonderful day, and it flew by.
Yeah. It went really fast.
So tell me about your after. Let's talk about after. What did you do after? Because just because you launched that book doesn't mean it stops there. It's actually when it really begins.
Yeah, it kind of picks up steam after that, don't you think?
Absolutely.
I planned a lot of things. It started off a little slow and then just kind of picked up speed as I moved along. I think that you'll find there are seasons where book events are easy to find and seasons that they're not.
Yes.
And so I made a schedule. I made a huge spreadsheet for myself monthly, and I kind of plugged in as I booked engagements. Some of them were book clubs. Some of them were podcasts. I did a lot of podcasts at the beginning. And then I did a lot of book events. And now I'm doing a lot of book clubs. So it just kind of worked out that way. But yeah, I think, you really want to pay attention to the ways that you can market your book afterwards.
Yes, absolutely. Because my sales actually increased as time has gone on. And, it's that constant, visibility, trying to put yourself out there. And, I want to tell people, especially with small press or hybrid or self-publishing, don't worry that you're not on everything right at the beginning. Because for me, I would say 99% of everything that's happened to me has happened after my launch. And, just because you may not have gotten the traction you were hoping for on launch day or the before, just keep working at it, get your book out there, be visible, be willing. I now have a new term, say yes to everything, every opportunity, say yes. You never know, what's going to happen. Good things will happen. So, so we're going to have to start wrapping this up. We went a little bit longer, but this is such an important subject for anyone who's thinking about writing a book, or they have that book and they're thinking about trying to get it published.
Yeah, I wish I had something like this. I didn't know that anything like this existed when I first signed my contract. So actually, I want to give a little shout out to just a couple of sources that I think are really beneficial. Yeah. One is Before and After the Book Deal by Courtney Maum. And then another one is Countdown to Marketing Your Book by Mary Helen Sheriff and Grace Salmon. We have some other sources on our show notes for today too, which we didn't have time to touch on, but I do hope that you will take a look at them.
Okay. So as our teacher, can you give us our due now for your timeline for your launch?
Yeah, we have a free downloadable checklist with everything we've mentioned today and more on it. And we've given you guidelines in terms of time frame. We've also given you what we think is probably going to be happening in terms of your publisher and your book at that time. So you kind of can gauge where you are in the process.
Yeah. And so we're getting ready to take a break, and we are going to take the month of December off from our podcast. We're just going to kind of regroup, spend it with our families, and kind of recharge, because it's been kind of a busy year for both of us. Yeah. But we're going to be coming back in January 2024. I cannot believe that we're getting close to the end of the year, but we're going to have something new in 2024. Donna, you want to tease it a little bit?
Yeah, we're adding something to our podcast. We have enjoyed having this platform to talk to you. We hope that you have gotten some benefit out of it. And, you can re-listen to our episodes as you need them. And we're going to add a little something that I think will enrich our podcast. And we'll see you on January 10th, which will be our next episode. And we wish you a very happy holiday.
Absolutely. And a happy new year.
Yeah. Enjoy your families.
Happy holidays, everyone. And thank you for being with us this year. It's been quite an experience starting a podcast with you, Donna.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I'm enjoying it. I'm learning and I'm growing every time.
Absolutely. Well, until next time.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Hope Gibbs.
And I'm Donna Norman Carbone. It's time for you to get to work.
We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks with another tip from your author friends.